Friends, if you trade, you've likely wondered which time frame is best. Some say you should work on smaller time frames, while others say that real success is achieved only on larger time frames. This confusion lingers in the minds of most traders. And until this question is clarified, you can't experience stability in the market. In this video, I'll explain the truth in a very clear manner. But before that, I have a small request. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and like this video. Because the things I'm about to share will change your trading mindset forever. Trading isn't just about looking at charts. It's a test of our mindset and patience. And understanding this mindset, today we'll discover which time frame is best. So, let's get started. And let's first address the root of this question. When I look at the market, the first thing that comes to my mind is that it will always remain the same. Neither you nor I can change it. But this is the biggest mistake we often make. The reality is that whether the time frame is a minute or a day, the market operates under the same uncertainty. The only difference is how you view it. If you are on a small time frame, every small movement will shake you up. And if you are on a large time frame, that same movement will be just a minor noise. This is the first understanding you must grasp. I want you to accept the fact that you don't have control over the market. All you have is your thinking, your patience, and your discipline. If you try to find the right answer by constantly changing time frames, it would be like trying to change the weather. The weather will always do its thing, and you must adapt accordingly. Remember, no time frame will be right for you until you change your mindset. So, at the beginning of this video, I want to say that before choosing a time frame, you need to understand what kind of trader you consider yourself to be. Are you impatient or patient? Do you get carried away by emotions over small movements, or do you have the ability to see the big picture? These questions will determine your direction. When you talk about time frames, you are actually trying to decide how to view the market. Imagine, if you look too closely at a mountain, you'll only see rocks and cracks. But if you look at the same mountain from a distance, its full shape, height, and beauty become clear. The same applies to time frames. Working on smaller time frames, you'll see a lot more movement before your eyes. Each candle will tell you a new story, and each movement will make you think that the market might be headed in your direction. This is why emotions are most prevalent on smaller time frames. If you are unprepared, these fluctuations will overwhelm you, leading you to repeatedly make wrong decisions. On the other hand, when you look at larger time frames, the picture becomes calmer, there's less noise, and you begin to understand the true market trend. But patience is a challenge here too. Sometimes you have to wait for hours or even days, and if you are impatient, this waiting will drive you crazy. I want you to understand that choosing a time frame is essentially a matter of understanding yourself. If you don't know yourself, you'll keep asking yourself which time frame is right. But once you understand your mindset, your patience, and your emotional control, you'll be able to determine which time frame is right for you. So, the next time you open a chart, don't just look at the candles. Ask yourself this question: what position am I in right now? Am I ready to ride this volatility? Or should I take a closer look at the market? Only when you do this self-reflection will you be able to see the time frames clearly. When you work on small time frames, it feels like you are standing in the middle of a storm. Every minute, every 5-minute candle pulls you in different directions. Sometimes you think the market is about to rise, and the next moment you see everything reversed. This is where your mentality is tested the most. The biggest challenge with smaller time frames is the excessive noise. Every small movement makes you feel as if a big opportunity is slipping away, and due to this fear, you start making entries and exits again and again without thinking. I want you to understand that this fear isn't actually created by the market, it's coming from within you. When you lose patience, every candle sounds like a warning sign. If you want to work on shorter time frames, you'll need to make lightning-fast decisions, but quick decisions are only true when your mind is clear and your emotions are controlled. If you are angry, greedy, or afraid, shorter time frames will become a trap. You'll try to jump on every movement, and in the process, you'll lose both your money and your confidence. I want to teach you that being attracted to shorter time frames isn't wrong. The real problem is that you jump into them without preparation. If you're not mentally disciplined, these time frames will teach you not to win, but to lose. So, whenever you trade on shorter time frames, first ask yourself, am I prepared to accept every small ups and downs as normal, or will I let every movement become a play on my emotions? Remember, shorter time frames can offer you sharp opportunities, but the same time frame can also cause you the most significant losses. The only difference lies in how much control you exercise over your mind. When you focus on larger time frames, you begin to see the true picture of the market. The noise of small candles gradually disappears, and the market's direction becomes clear to you. It's as if you've stepped out of a noisy room into an open field where everything appears calm and clear. The biggest advantage of larger time frames is that you don't get lost in the market noise, but rather understand its flow. When you look at daily or weekly charts, small movements don't disrupt your thinking. You gain a stable perspective, and the stability helps you make the right decisions. But I also want you to understand that larger time frames aren't just an easy path. The biggest test here is patience. Sometimes you have to wait for days for the right opportunity, and only those who have learned to control their emotions can endure this wait. If you have impatience, this wait is worth it. It will make you anxious and you will make premature decisions. When you work on larger time frames, you have ample time to think and plan. You can calmly consider each step and make decisions without haste. But this is where traders give up. They want results every day, every opportunity to trade. When they don't see an entry even after a long wait, they become impatient and jump in at the wrong place. You must learn that success on larger time frames means taking fewer trades but higher quality trades. This means that you only select opportunities where the odds are in your favor and where the market direction is clear to you. If you think that larger time frames are always easy, that's a misconception. The reality is that they require more discipline, they require more patience and self-control. If you develop these qualities, larger time frames become extremely powerful weapons for you. When you talk about choosing the right time frame for trading, you're not just choosing a chart, you are choosing a reflection of your own psyche and thinking. The question of which time frame is best is never a question about the market, it's entirely a question about you. I want you to understand that if you are impatient and react immediately to every small movement, smaller time frames can become a trap. They will tempt you again and again, but will leave you emotionally shaken each time. On the other hand, if you have patience, if you can wait and evaluate each opportunity, larger time frames will present a clearer picture and enable you to make stronger decisions. But here's a deeper truth: patience and impatience alone don't solve everything. No matter what time frame you are on, if you don't learn to control your emotions, you'll make the same mistakes again and again. Greed can lead you to overreact. Trade will lead you to success, while fear will keep you away from the right opportunity. Therefore, before choosing the right time frame, it's important to understand and strengthen your mindset. You need to cultivate the habit of thinking that trading isn't a race, it's a journey where every step, every decision reflects your inner state. Only when you accept that market movements don't depend on your expectations, but rather you must align your expectations with market reality, will you be able to identify the right time frame. So, the next time you open a chart, don't ask yourself, which time frame is best? Instead, ask yourself, which time frame is right for me? What kind of decisions am I willing to make? What level of patience is my strength? And how much control can I exercise over my emotions? Only when you answer these questions honestly will you discover the time frame that truly suits you. When you repeatedly think that changing a short time frame will improve your trading, you are actually deceiving yourself. The market will remain the same, its movements will remain the same, only your perspective will change. But if your inner thinking remains the same, filled with fear, greed, and driven by impatience, whether you look at a 1-minute chart or a day's, your mistakes will be repeated again and again. I want to tell you that change in trading doesn't come from changing charts, but rather from changing your mindset. If you learn to view every trade as a new opportunity, if you don't let past mistakes dictate your next trade, and if you accept that every market movement is uncertain, only then will you truly excel in the game of trading. If you control your emotions, trading on any time frame will become easier for you. Even small time frames will no longer scare you, and longer time frames will no longer be as intimidating. Will also not make you anxious because you will know that the real control is in your hands in your decisions. You must understand in your mindset that trading is never made easier by external circumstances, it only becomes easier by internal change. Only when you accept that the market will never give you certainty will you learn to embrace this uncertainty. This will be the moment when you realize that the right time frame isn't a chart, but the mental state in which you are trading. So, the next time you decide to change your time frame, ask yourself this question: Am I looking for this change in the chart, or should I make this change within myself? If you answer this question honestly, you will understand that you need more change within yourself than in the market. When you understand that you can't change the market's uncertainty, the next step is to accept every trade as a new opportunity. This means that whether your previous trade was profitable or loss-making, it shouldn't affect your next trade in any way. However, the mistake you often make is that emotions from past experiences overshadow your current decisions. If you suffered a loss in a previous trade, you become overwhelmed by fear, and when the next opportunity arises, you become anxious. You also hesitate, and if the previous trade brought you a big profit, you get greedy and take excessive risk in the next trade. This cycle pushes you into making wrong decisions again and again. I want you to understand deeply that every trade is independent. The market doesn't care how much you won or lost yesterday. It is always new, fresh, and uncertain. When you approach every trade as a new opportunity, you leave your emotions behind. You are no longer broken by past losses or blinded by past profits. You only see the present and make decisions that are right for the present moment. This is the thinking that makes you strong on any time frame. Remember, the real game of trading happens within you. If you treat every trade as a new opportunity, you will be free from the burden that past experiences have placed on your shoulders. This freedom gives you the clarity you need to look calmly at the charts and make the right decisions. So, the next time when you take a trade, simply tell yourself, this is a new opportunity. This isn't my past experience. Once you make this a habit, you'll gradually realize that you are truly trading based on your strategy and mental balance, not emotions. Believe me, this is where your true trading journey begins. Finally, I want to tell you that choosing a time frame isn't a magic key that will instantly make your trading successful. Whether you choose a small or a large time frame, it's always your mindset that will make the real difference. If you have discipline, if you can control your emotions and accept every trade as a new opportunity, then every time frame will prove to be right for you. But if you can't control your thinking, then any time frame will disappoint you again and again. I want you to understand this truth deeply. Don't try to change the market, because that's impossible. Instead, try to change yourself. When you develop your thinking to such a level that fear and greed can no longer dominate your decisions, you'll find that time frames are just a point of view, not a determinant of your success. Real success in trading comes when you embrace the market's uncertainty and adapt to it. This process isn't easy, but it's the path that gives you the ability to persist and succeed over the long term. So, my conclusion is that the answer to the right time frame lies not in your charts, but within you. If you gain control over your patience, your discipline, and your emotions, every time frame will open doors of opportunity for you. If you don't change yourself, no time frame will show you the right path. So, the next time you sit in front of a trading screen, don't just look at the charts. Look at yourself, identify your mindset and work on it. This is the key that will take you to a level where the question of time frames will become irrelevant, because then you will have no ability to manipulate the market like any code. You will have clarity of vision and confidence. Outro for the end of the video. So friends, I hope today's discussion helped you understand that the real answer to time frames lies not in the charts but within you. If you found this video valuable, please like it, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, because trading truly becomes an art when you change your mindset.